Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing the Allure and Amber Heard December 2017 cover look. So if you want to watch, just keep on watching. So I've already washed and moisturized my face. So I'm going to be using the Too Faced Primed and Poreless Primer because I felt that Amber had a pretty matte face versus being because she was in the Hollywood Hills when she was shooting with Allure. So I'm just going to be taking about that sized amount and I'm just going to be warming it up in between my fingers, and I'm going to be applying it on my T-zone, and then I will apply it on some of the acne bumps that I have right now. So I'm just going to rub that in with my fingers to make sure that my face is all ready and primed for foundation. For foundation, I'm going to be using a mixture of two foundations. To start off, I'm going to be using the Lancome Teint Idole Ultra Cushion Foundation in 310 Bisque, and then the Maybelline Fit Me Foundation in 110 Porcelain. So what I'm going to be doing is just taking the foundation all over my face. I'll stick my finger into the cushion compact and just start dotting it all over my face to get the desired coverage that I would like. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of that Maybelline foundation in 110 Porcelain and pour it onto the back of my hand, and then I will dot it all over my face and make sure that the Lancome foundation and the Maybelline foundation even each other out, because although I'm not at my darkest right now for my Lancome foundation, I'm definitely not at the lightest for the Maybelline. So a mixture of the two really is what I sit at right now in terms of my skin tone. So I'm just going to be taking my Morphe foundation brush and blending that into my skin. What you're going to want to do is make sure that you are buffing your foundation and not necessarily swiping it. You're not seeing me drag a ton of foundation all over my face. You're just seeing very short motions, and it just really helps to make the foundation stay in the places where I want it to be at. I know it looks pretty rough, like I'm tugging on my face, but trust me, I am not. I really like this foundation brush because I find that it doesn't soak up any product. It just makes the product extremely full coverage. It makes it the coverage that the foundation is intended to be. It doesn't shear it out. It doesn't do anything wonky. And I'm just going to be bringing that foundation up onto my eyelids as well, and my contact ended up moving, so that's why I made that face. And then I'm just going to be doing that to the other eye, and I like to do this to even out the makeup on my eyes and on my face. So just make sure to bring that down your neck and so it matches your face, and then just make sure to bring it onto your ears as well so your ears match, and just buff out all the edges where the foundation may or may not blend. For concealer, I'm going to be using the Urban Decay Naked Skin Concealer in the shade Light Neutral, and I'm just going to be taking that and making two little swipes like that underneath my eyes. I would normally put more on, but because this is a shade that I mostly use when I'm at my darkest in terms of fake tan, I knew I did not want to add a lot. So I'm just going to be taking my ring finger and patting that out. And I really recommend using your ring finger because it has the lightest amount of pressure of any of your fingers. It's because it's the weakest finger. And the warmth of my finger and the pouncing motion or the dotting motion that I make is going to really help to blend out the product. And I'm just going to bring that up on my eye as well to serve as a sort of eyeshadow primer. You don't necessarily have to do this if you'd rather just use an eyeshadow primer, but I find that both of these work really well, and it just is an unnecessary step for me to use eyeshadow primer, and then I don't have to pay for it because I use my concealer. So I'm just going to make sure that it's all blended on my lip, my top of my lip, my chin, my forehead, and underneath my eyes to make sure that I have a nice even application. For my under eye setting powder, I'm going to be using the Studio Makeup loose setting powder, and I would normally take it on a damp sponge, but I didn't have much time to get ready this morning and I was late for school because of this, but I mean, I didn't even go eventually because I had a doctor's appointment. Anyways, I'm just going to be taking a Morphe brush and just tapping that into the powder and then tapping the excess off and just kind of moving that underneath my eyes, and you can kind of see some of the powder come off as I do that. But I just really adore this powder. It really helps with the transferring of my mascara and things like that, and I just think it's definitely one of the best powders on the game. I'm technically using a really small foundation brush for this, but I feel this brush works well for powders, so I like it. So I'm just going to be applying that underneath my eyes, and then I will bring it up onto the eyelids as well to set my concealer for eyeshadow. So I did decide that because Amber had a pretty matte face that I was going to be setting the rest of my foundation with powder. So I'm going to be using the Makeup Forever Fondant Tint Powder Foundation in the shade 200, and I'm just going to be taking that on a really big Morphe brush, powder brush, and just putting that all over my face in the places where I did not apply the under eye setting powder. And I also think this helped lighten my foundation just a tiny bit, but I just helped setting it and making it not come off during the day. Now, moving on to the eye part of her look. To make this look more wearable, I'm not going to be putting the Swarovski crystals on my eyelids. I'm just going to be using the shadow colors that she used. So the first shadow I'm going to use is Buttercupcake by Sugarpill Cosmetics, and I'm just going to be taking that on a really fluffy Morphe brush. There's a ton of different types of fluffy brushes you can use. I ended up using a natural hair brush, but if you prefer synthetics or anything along those lines, that would work as well, just as long as you have a nice fluffy crease brush that you want to use. So I'm going to be taking up a little bit of that, not a whole lot, just enough to make sure that I have what I want in my crease. This is a really pigmented yellow shadow, and it's something that you need to be careful with, and to make sure that I don't overestimate how much shadow I put on, I'm just going to lightly tap it off any of the excess that I feel or that I see I have. And I'll just do that to ensure that my shadow stays on nicely and that it doesn't fall off or flake or any of those things. So that is what I'm going to be doing. So once I am done putting Buttercupcake all over my eyes, I'm going to be taking the Jaclyn Hill and Morphe palette, and I'm going to be going in with this shade right here. I forgot what it's called, but I'll put it in the description box. And I'm just going to take a little bit more of that on the exact same brush, and I'm just going to be putting it just a tiny bit lower into my crease, just to darken it up a tad bit and give it more of an orangey feel versus a stark yellow. So what I'm just going to do is that, and I'm going to look down to make sure I can really get into my crease. That's one thing that I recommend doing. As you can see here, my forehead is wrinkled, but I recommend not lifting your brows or doing anything like that because you're creating more lid space than you actually have. So even though sometimes it's hard for me to not do it, I really recommend just letting your eye kind of rest there and sit there. And I'm just going back and forth trying to see what colors I can make work, because her eye was a pretty unique color and I had to work with a few different shadows in order to achieve it. So just do that, fill in the rest of your eyes with that shade in the Jaclyn Hill and Morphe palette. And then after looking over the cover, I decided I'm going to need to darken it up a little bit. So I'm going to be going in with the shade Boots, I believe, by Jaclyn Hill, obviously in the Morphe palette. I'm just going to take a tiny bit of that on that exact same brush that we use those two colors on, and I'm just going to blend that out right into my crease just to darken it up and make it look a little bit more mustard yellow instead of bright yellow like the sun. So now I'm going to just take the Benefit Gimme Brow Gel in the shade 5, and I really like this because it gives my brows some volume. Even though I have pretty thick brows, it just fills them in and makes them look a little bit more natural and less powdery, and it just works magic. As you can see, I really recommend it for anyone who is looking for a really nice brow gel, colored brow gel. It's just amazing, and I can't live without it for sure. So now moving on to the lips. Amber had obviously red lips on, and so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the Sonia Kushuk True Red Lip Liner, and I'm just going to use that to line my lips. Now, I'm not sure if Amber's makeup artist used a lip liner. It didn't say exactly, but obviously for a red lip, I'm going to. So I'm just going to trace the shape of my lips to make sure that I stay within the lines. And I'm not going to go like one stripe right away. I'm just going to be very careful in how I fill them in because obviously it's red. It's going to leave a lot of color, and I just want to make sure that I'm not going outside the lines. And I'm going to be filling in the corners, the inside of my mouth, just because I have a smaller inside of my mouth, so I can't get to it as easily with the lipstick without going outside my natural lip shape. So I'm also going to be filling that in. I'm going to be really careful on my lower lip line as well to make sure I get that pretty precise. So just take your time doing this step. If you just take your time, you should be fine in tracing your lip line. Now, Amber was wearing a red lipstick, so I'm going to be taking the Smashbox matte red lipstick in the shade Bing. And you guys may remember this as it was Allure's 2016 Best of Beauty for the red lipstick. So I'm just going to take that and fill in my lips with that. And I'm just going to be going very slowly to make sure that I have a precise line, making sure that I blend it in with my lower lip. And I'm just going to do that in slow motion to make sure that I'm not going outside my lip or making it really messy. You don't want to go quickly with brightly colored lips, so just take your time as necessary. In the magazine, it did say that Amber was wearing some sort of red liquid lip or a lighter, more orange tone liquid lip in the center of her lip. So I'm just going to be taking the Dirty Little Secrets liquid lipstick in the shade, dang it, I forgot. So I will definitely put that down below, but she just put that on the inside of her lips, and I'm just going to do that, rub it together to make sure it blends nicely, but that's going to create a little bit of a lighter appearance on the inside of my lip. So I thought that Amber didn't have a matte face, and I don't think she had a dewy face, so I'm going to be using the Best Damn Facial Spray and just spritzing that all over my face. This is Nicole Garrow's brand here on YouTube, so I'm very happy to be supporting a fellow YouTuber. So I'm just going to dry that off with the palette and just to make sure that all the powders and everything is set on my face so it stays nice and fresh throughout the day. So for mascara, I thought that Amber had pretty long lashes. I wouldn't say they were thick, but more on the long side. So I'm going to be using the AmpliMascara from the Makeup Eraser, and I'm just going to be coating my top lashes with that. And I really like this mascara. I feel like it gives a really lengthening effect. I don't feel that it thickens my lashes any, but it does definitely lengthen them. And I did curl them beforehand using the Tarte eyelash curler. Normally I wouldn't do this, but I just decided to apply that same mascara to my bottom lashes. Normally I would take the Tarteist Lights Camera Lashes and do that, but I was in a hurry and I just decided to use the same mascara on my top lashes as my bottom lashes, and it worked out pretty well. I just prefer the Tarte mascara because it's a little bit drier. So that is it, guys. I hope you enjoyed this look. Don't forget to tag Amber Heard and Allure in my video and on my post on Instagram. I would really appreciate it. Get the word to them to show them how I recreated Amber's look. I'm very excited to have done this cover. I really love the lips and the eye combo. I think red and yellow is such a beautiful combo together. Obviously, I cheer for the team that has those colors. Go Chiefs. But anyways, I hope you guys like it. Bye.